Today in the wood yard, we're taking the Eastonmade Ultra that way and we're gonna split some wood. Here we go. So the other day, I finished splitting this maple that was right here. And I got all that done. That was all the free wood I got from a friend of mine. Got that all done. And today, I'm going to take the splitter over to the far side where there's a little bit left of some maple that I also got for free from the same guy, but a different batch he brought me in his trailer. We're gonna split that. And then we're heading back over that direction. We're gonna start working on some of that oak that my brother and I cut like a week ago or however long ago that was. We're gonna get going on that. And before I can even do that, I have to take all these chunks in the wheelbarrow over to the cookie bin. And I think it's gonna be getting to be pretty full. So let's go over there, we'll load this up and we're gonna head over that way and we're gonna clear this out so we can get the splitter out of here and move it. So it looks like I've got a couple wheelbarrows full of chunks here I gotta take over to the cookie bin. So I'm gonna get these hauled over there, clean this out, and then I can get the splitter moved out again because it's kind of buried in here. I gotta move this anyway to get it out. And I wanna be able to just back the truck up in here and pull it over there so I don't have to kill myself trying to get it over there because the ground is not too soft. We did get about an inch of rain a couple days ago. Well, I guess yesterday it quit raining, but it's starting to dry out pretty good now where I don't feel like I'm gonna rip it up too bad. I might have 3 wheelbarrows full here, man. There's a lot of chunks. So this free wood I got, I would say I probably had, if I'm looking at that pile, I probably have 4, maybe 5 at the most face cords of wood that's good. I'll be able to sell, and then I got a whole bunch of these short pieces like this and these chunks that I'll be able to sell, but not as the high quality stuff. I do have a market for this, so it's not like it's worthless, but it's not worth as much, and it's not as easy to sell, not as desirable as the good stuff. So we're gonna load this up. Looks like that's probably enough because I'm gonna have to do at least 2 more. So I'll take this over and dump it. So as you can see, the cookie bin is getting very full very fast. And if I remember right on my counting, this is probably right around 20 wheelbarrows full that I've thrown into the cookie cage or cookie bin here. So what I have left over there plus this, it's gonna be pretty darn full. I think I'll have to build another one real soon because I got lots more wood to cut and I got lots more cookies to get off the ground, and areas I got back there I want to kind of get it cleaned up. And that's a job I'm going to have my summer help do, is move the wood from one spot to another and clean it up so that I can keep the cookies kind of out of the way and not taking up too much space like they are in back. So back in that corner over there, I just got it all spread out. It probably covers, it's probably 20 feet across and 10 feet across the other direction, and it's just kind of all spread out. I want to build it up higher, so I'm going to build some of these racks like this. Plus the wood I think will be better off the ground and not in a big huge monster pile like that is, where the bottom stuff is. It's not on the ground, it's on pallets, but it's not near as good as it should be. So we're going to go get another load. Be right back. Don't be scared. Just real quick, I'll be here in just a second. Told you I'd be right back. You weren't scared, were you? That's good. So there is another one of these over there yet. There's a lot of chunks from this stuff. So this baby's gonna be full by the time I get done unloading this and the next one. There's gonna be no more room at the end for chunks. I'm going to line these up across here to make kind of the wall a little higher, so to speak. Does that make sense? I think it does. So that way they won't roll out on me, hopefully. Well, it's been cloudy all day, and now the sun is coming out, and it's getting warm fast. It's been like in the low 50s, but the sun is warm, and I prefer it to not be sunny when it starts to get warm. I know some of you think warm is like 80. No, warm is anything over 60. I prefer 40s. That's what's best for when you're doing firewood. Cool weather. Going to get another load. Be right back. There. There's still more over there. I couldn't even fit it all in. But this is most of it. There's only maybe another half a wheelbarrow full. It just keeps coming. Really starting to be glad I built this cage here for these things. This is ridiculous how much I have. Of course, like I said, this stuff was free wood, and they had it all cut when I got there, so I never even cut any of this. All I did was split it. And they were just cutting it to get rid of it, so they weren't worried about size at all. Although I still had quite a bit that was good size stuff. It's just that there was way more than needed to be of this small stuff here. But we'll get it in here. I can go pretty high over here. It looks like I got lots of room in the back. Should have thought of that first, huh? There, that's close enough for government work. Now I'm gonna go hook up the splitter. I'm just gonna leave this here because it's out of the way. But I'm gonna hook up the splitter to the truck. We're gonna pull it up over here. I'll show you what we're gonna do next. I got, I don't know, maybe a half a face cord or so, maybe a little more of wood that my buddy brought that was left over from the job that he had in his trailer. So yeah, this little bit here, yeah, that's probably at least a half a face cord, if not more. And it'll get stacked right here with this stuff because this is all maple here. So gonna go get the splitter now. I'm going to move the splitter. I just backed up the truck here, and I'm going to do something I've never done before with the splitter. For those of you that don't know how this Eastonmade Ultra is designed, normally you would put the hitch down here into that receiver hole. That is the way you would tow it going that direction. But you can remove the bar, the drawbar here, not drawbar, the tongue. You could put it on this end and tow from here. So you can just pull it right out from the pile. So in theory, all I have to do is obviously mount it on the ball, just crank the jack up and then flip it up. But it might have a little bit of negative tongue weight. It might be popping a little bit, so I'll have to make sure it's clamped in. But at least I can move it around the yard there. So we're gonna give it a try. I've never done it before, so this will be the first time for me ever doing this. So maybe you've never seen it either. So the first thing I'm gonna do is crank this down. I know it only goes so far, and I'll have to flip the jack around to be horizontal. But maybe I won't even have to do that. If I get it low enough, I could just push on the tongue up there. Yeah, it's sitting on the wood there back there now, so all I gotta do is get it on here somehow, which I think I can do. Oh, wow. Okay, it's heavier than I thought it would be on this end. There, I've got it locked on, but now my jack over here, I don't know if I can bring this over so you can see it's still kind of into the ground there. What I'm going to try to do is, because I'm on an incline here on a hill, and it's off the ground but just barely, so it looks like I'm going to have to dig out some of the chunks here so I can get at the jack to tip it around and flip it horizontal. A little guy. Okay. And I've got the safety chain wrapped around here too, just to keep it out of the way. Let's see, oh yeah, I just gotta pull a pin. Okay, gotta get right under here in order to do it. Every pin has got a safety pin too, so I'm gonna bring you guys down here so you can see this. Ooh. Okay, so this pin right here needs to come up, but there's a little button there that's got to be compressed and be able to get it up, and then I can flip this up. So I don't know if you guys can see here. I'll put this here. You'll be able to see something. Oops. There we go. I think you can see something. There we go. Yep, that's what I thought would happen. It's I'm gonna have to jack it back up in order to flip it because it's so tight to the ground here. I can't even. Oh, this whole thing pops off. That's the scoop. Well, look at that. I didn't realize that. There we go. Now, see? Learned something. I didn't know that they did that. So now, all I gotta do is get these chains so they aren't on the ground here. There you go, that should work. Throw the jack right on top of there. And I should be able to tow it on out of here. So hopefully it'll stay connected. I got it locked in there, but I'm not going down the highway or anything. But yeah, it's got quite a bit of a rise to it here because I've got a level straight shaft on the receiver here, and I do that because my trailer, once I get weight on it, it sits pretty level, but this thing obviously weighs not enough to do that. But here we go, we're going to tow it over there, see what happens. So I got it towed over here, right where I'm going to do the splitting, and I already put down another pallet right here, and I had to put another piece on the end because it was a little bit short because I went right out the end of that one down there, and this was my mark for 8 feet from that pallet. So just using a 2x6 with a 1x8 underneath it just to lift it up a little, because this is a real high pallet here. And so I'm gonna stick the splitter, I think. Well, let's see. I probably can put it so it's right where I'm standing, right here, sticking that way, and I can grab the pieces from behind me and then just chuck them over to the side here, right over that open space, because they're all gonna get stacked right over here on this side, because I want this farthest row to be complete first. This won't complete it, obviously. I'll probably get a row, maybe a little more than a row and a half, something like that in there. And then I'll start at cutting on this and then just keep filling all this area in. But I want to get this done because it's kind of in the way now, and then we're going to head back to that corner and get in on the oak back there as soon as I get this done. So here we go, splitting time. Okay, so here's the scoop. I ended up making some changes here. I was going to have this pallet butted up right tight and then just add on the end, and I forgot I have to build my end. So what I did is I just took a couple of 4x6s and put them in the middle here, moved it down so that my 8-foot mark is right here on the back of this pallet. I put some braces on, put an old pallet on there, and now I can just build a full cord right here. Now I can finally get to splitting. I've been playing around with this for the last, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. I still haven't done any splitting. So I got the splitter unhooked from the truck, and I found out that when you pull this pin down here, this end is much heavier, which is the end you should tow from. And I had a real hard time lifting that up, getting the leg underneath, or the jack underneath, getting the pin in place without it rocking back and forth, because it's removable, so it's not like it's just there where you can stand it up and it clicks in place. You got to get it just right so you can put this pin in. So that wasn't easy, but it's done now. So now I know it works that way, but it's still got quite a bit of weight on this end as far as lifting it. And on that end, there's almost no weight, so it pops up on you. So, but it works. It's nice to pull it out of the pile that way. That was pretty slick. So now I'm going to move the splitter right over here, and we're going to make the big pieces into little bitty pieces. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, that little batch is done. Now all I gotta do is wheelbarrow these chunks down to the cookie pile, and then we're gonna come down here and show you where we're gonna go. There's 4 trailer loads full of wood that I cut with my brother a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now. I forget how long it was. It was a while ago. But it's been sitting there and it's oak. So I want to get it split up right away because it's oak. And it's going to take longer to dry than anything else. So I'm going to do this before I start cutting on that cherry and the rest of that maple because it's oak and it's all red oak. Some of it is dry. There's some pieces you can see here that are no bark on them. So there's going to be some dry stuff in there. But there was a couple green trees we cut too. There was one that was right next to one that was dead and the guy said cut it down. So I've got all this to cut. So my plan is, to split. So my plan is that I think I'm going to wheel the splitter over onto that side. I'm going to clear all this junk out here and then make a spot where I can throw the wood right into a pile here because I'm going to stack it right back in this corner here because I've got all the way from that stuff over here over to this cookie pile right behind me that I can fill that whole area in there. So that's where it's going to go. And this is the spot where I cut these trees down this winter or spring, whenever that was a while ago. So it's going to get plenty of sun here. So I'm going to wheel the splitter on here and we're going to get splitting on this pile. I only got about, I don't know, hour and a half of daylight left, but I don't want to waste it. So it's time to get splitting again. There, I got the splitter backed in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start splitting this stuff right here so that what I'm going to do is clear this area out right through here, and I'll keep the splitter kind of close to this edge so the wood will be behind me so I can just grab it, throw it on the splitter, and then I'm going to throw it over here because I got enough room here for all of it for sure. There's room here for, I don't know, 5, 6 full cords, and I got all this wood that's going to go in here. So that's what's going to happen. Now I got, I don't know, maybe an hour and 20 minutes before it starts to get dark, so I'm going to get splitting, and then I think tomorrow we're going to do more splitting, so that's what's going to happen. So we're going to start up the splitter and start making the big ones into the little ones. So I'm going to do a little splitter talk here while I'm doing some splitting. This wood right here is from a tree that I cut down. It was right behind the wood piles that were kind of in the way in this tree. Part of it died and part of it was still alive. And I said it was buckthorn. It's not buckthorn, it's actually thorn apple is what it is. It's a tree that grows very slowly, very dense wood, excellent firewood. It's a lot like, probably like an apple wood crossed with a ironwood is the way I would describe it. So very dense, very heavy wood, and it does grow little bitty apples on it that probably about the size of like a crab apple, like the size of your thumb. Apparently the deer eat them because every time when they fall very early in the fall of the year. The deer just scarf them up right away. As I noticed, I've got a couple other trees in the property that I have kind of back to my left, the wood line over there. There's about 3 or 4 of them, and they're probably, I would say, just decent sized tree. This one is an average size one for what you see for the thorn apples. Trees, that is, far as size, maybe 8 inches or so. But I've got a big one on the other side it's probably got to be a good 10 inches. So it's a pretty good sized tree. And I've never burned it before, but it's very heavy, very dense. Like I said, it's kind of a cross between like apple and ironwood. So I just had that one tree there that I cut up and then I'm splitting. I was going to mix it right in with the oak, and I'm actually going to pull some of it out separately because the tree was pretty dry already. I'm going to give it a try this summer, burning it in my fire pit in the backyard just to see how it burns, because I'm honestly quite curious because I've never burned it before. So if any of you have ever burned this type of wood before, thorn apple, which is what this is, I'm just curious how does it burn? Does it burn easy? Does it burn hot? Does it burn slow? It just seems to me like it's a very dense, hard wood. So something I've never tried before. So anyway, that's what I'm splitting because it was laying there since I had cut it up, and there were some pieces big enough that I thought I should split them so that I get them to dry. So that's what I'm doing there. So while I'm doing this splitting here, there was a little chunk I just wanted to get out of the way. That's about as small as I will split stuff down. You know, once it gets to be about the size of your arm, well, my arm's pretty skinny, but once they get to be that size, like wrist size, I don't split. But I like to open them up, and some people will say, well, it'll be just fine the way it is, but I really want it to be dry in case I'm selling it. I don't want somebody to get wood that's sizzling and wet. I want to make sure that it's dry. You see how I threw that piece? I do that a lot. I find if I'm off to the side and I have a small enough piece and I want more, I can chuck it from a ways away, and I aim it right at the actual wedge, the 4-way wedge there. And if I hit it, it just stops it instantly. So it works pretty good to throw it from a distance. So I just dug out some of the pieces that I thought should be split. They were a little bigger than the other one, the smaller pieces. And so I get those split up. And some people will ask, you know, why do you split the wood? Why don't you just leave it? Because it dries better. Even the small pieces will dry better. And I don't have anybody that has ever told me that the pieces were too small. They like having a variety of sizes for their fireplace. But I have had people say these pieces are too big. Can you split them down smaller, or should I split them down smaller? And they, you know, I've had people ask, will they even burn? And that's when I first started in the firewood business. When I was selling wood, I was selling stuff that I had cut for myself, basically, and I thought it was fine because I was used to burning, you know, big chunks for heating wise, and I just thought that's the way it should be because that's what my dad always did. That's what my brothers do. But the more I listened to people, the more I found out for a fireplace, for their enjoyment, they do not want big pieces. They want stuff that anybody can pick up with one hand and handle. And most people don't want the fire to just basically be barely burning with a little bit of coals like you would want in, like, for heating. Most people want to actually see flames. They want a fire so that when they're sitting by the fire, it lights up the area they're sitting in, and it lights up so they can see the people's faces around them if, you know, if it's at night. They don't just want to have a slow burning fire. They want something that, you know, is enjoyable to watch besides just get the heat from it. Which is why I sell a lot of pine in the summertime for campfire wood, and a lot of the lower grade wood, because it burns faster and people don't care. You got to realize for campfire wood, which is what you sell in the summertime, people want flame and they want it to burn easily. They don't want to have something that they have to fight with, and they are not burning it for heat. Yes, maybe on a cool night, a little bit of heat. That's not the primary reason. The primary reason is to sit around, have a few drinks, eat some snacks, make some s'mores, you know, roast some winnies, that kind of stuff. They want to sit around and enjoy the campfire. It's not something that they're, you know, the wood they're buying is heating their house with it. It's for the enjoyment of watching the fire. So that's the reason why I sell a lot of the lower grade wood. When I say lower grade wood, obviously I mean the soft woods like pine. So your white pine, your jack pine, your red pine, your other evergreens like your balsam, spruce, stuff like that. Cedar, that's the stuff I sell kind of as campfire wood that's in the pines. And then the other stuff that I sell, the lower grade wood, which would be your box elder, your aspen, your cottonwood, some of the other stuff like that I get. Once in a while I get, you know, a little bit of birch. Once in a while I'll get a little bit of some other stuff that's not great wood. And basswood is another one. Basswood's another one that I sell a lot of campfire wood for. Actually, I bought a half a truckload of it last year, and I still have quite a bit of it that I'm going to try to sell this year. So anyway, there we go. We're going to get to doing some faster splitting. I just got started here, as you can see, on the oak now. That's what I came around to the other side, so now I'm getting in on the oak and just chucking it off to the side. And the bark's just falling right off of this stuff because the tree's been dead for quite a while. So it's going to be quite a mess when I get done splitting this. So anyway, we're going to speed things up and we're going to go much faster right now. Well, it appears as if the sun has set. It's getting cold out fast, which is nice. It's supposed to freeze tonight again, which would be great. Cold is good for working outside. I got a bunch done. I got, I don't know, I'd say at least one of the trailer loads full, so I probably got 3 to go. And tomorrow I'm gonna go that way. I hope to get all this done tomorrow. If I don't have anything that comes up, I don't think I have anything, so that'd be awesome. So I got a bunch done today. Feels good. And tomorrow we're gonna get a lot more done. And you're gonna be here, I'm gonna be here. We'll both be here. It'll be fun. You should come back. Between now and then, get outside, get cutting. Good night, Irene.